Hey, what's up? This is your girl Diamond. I go live every Friday, and today we're going to be talking about being turned out. We're going to be talking about people who switch teams in regards to, who they like to get down with, you know. I host a podcast every week on Thursday called Marsha's Plates, and it's on all streaming platforms. And as you come in and listen to the conversation, make sure you thumbs up and subscribe. Hey, Bougie, how are you? Hey, L. Hey, Kay. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Have you been watching Escaping SWV? I have not. I have been watching this show called, I've been watching Mandalorian, but the new show that I'm watching, because the new Mandalorian new season 3 is out. I think it's season 3. But the new show I've been watching is called Power, The Power. Not Power like 50 cents, but The Power, and it's on Amazon Prime. And it's about these girls when they reach teenage years, they start getting electricities, these powers to fuck people up. It is so cute. I love it. I've been watching that. What else have I've been watching? Have I been watching anything else? No, not really. Hey Deshaun. Hey, Brandon. Hey, Marissa. Hey, Trishawn. Hey, L. Did I say hey to L? Yes, I did. Android. Mike. Android, I need to come out to Seattle, child. I need some of y'all gummies. The gummies I've been finding have been kind of whack. Try doozies. You try the drops you put under your tongue. Hmm. I usually so I might try that. I usually like the gummies because I can, if I want a full gummy, I could take the full thing. If I want to, these little gummy worms I used to have, I could take half the gummy worm if I just want to be like, and I could take a full one if I want to be like, ooh, this is love. I like the control of it. I listened to Latasha Scott's album and it's actually nice. I would tell people to give it a chance. It's a cute, inspirational bop. Hmm. Yeah, I think Escape and the singers in it are legends. So if it's a cute album, take a listen. So I want y'all to be thinking about, as we give folk a chance to come on in, to be thinking about moments in your life where you turn somebody out. And if this applies to you, I know this does not apply to everybody, but a moment when what you were attracted to or someone that you were attracted to went almost opposite of what you normally are attracted to. I want you to think about those moments. So if you used to if you have a type, I want you to think about the moment that your attraction to someone, you were attracted to someone, but it was like not your norm. It's not they weren't really your type, but for some reason you were attracted to them. So I want you to think about those times in your life because we're going to be discussing it and I'm going to be asking y'all questions. Do, 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 do. Have y'all been hearing about what's going on in Tennessee? What is we? I feel like we about to. And then Kid Rock shooting up the little Bud Light cans. That's more funny than. But these kind of gestures are like warnings to what could happen. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels like all because they hired a trans person for their advertisement for Bud Light advertisement. They hired one, and I guess he's Kid Rock is boycotting. He ain't no kid. He looked like some old white man. But I guess he's boycotting Bud Light, and so he put like some um a bunch of Bud Light cases up, and he shot them with the gun. And it's real cringe in this time of mass shootings and a bunch of trans people getting murdered, and it just is very cringe, and it's kind of scary because I feel like January 6th. I feel like the insurrection on January 6th indicates that these people are deranged and very very like mm, we haven't started the conversation yet, Brianna. We've just gotten started. We can give it a couple of minutes. I'm pretty sure somebody got turned out in your life. I'm sure you turned some people out. um, social media doesn't seem to be suppressing the rhetoric either. But actually, I think that's impossible, Melissa. I think that there's some things that people can do to help, but I think also another element. I don't know. I haven't thought this all the way through, but when you're in a place where it's a freedom of speech, people will just say whatever. People will say what, like recently. I don't know if I talked about this on this channel. Um, there was a study done about disinformation, like sharing misinformation. They did some research, a case study where they were testing out people's ability to um, detect fake news, and they gave them an incentive. Like they said, we're going to pay you for each time you point out that this is fake news. And what they learned that with that incentive is that everybody that everybody increased their ability to point out fake news. That's number one. But Republicans, like people who are on the conservative side, they increased drastically. Like where it was totally like a 20% increase above other people. Everybody else was more invested in sharing real information, but they had went so far, like 20% drastically in changing their behavior. And what they learned in the study was that people share fake news not because they don't believe that it's untrue, they share it because it aligns with their narrative. And so it's not about them not knowing that this is fake news or then this is not real. This is about they just want to share this because it aligns with their own narrative, even if they don't believe it. So it doesn't really matter. Like the people. It's the people are sharing whatever they're gonna share. It is up to everybody to is the individual to figure out what is real, and what they're seeing is that it doesn't really matter. Whatever motherfuckers is gonna be against, they're gonna be against. But if you think about it, how many people have you actually met in your life that were against your transness who actually shifted? I had a few, but how many people who you have met in your life, that were when you met them anti-trans, transphobic, was not fucking with your shit? How many of them actually flipped over to, oh, I accept you? I've only had like one or two. Most people who are anti-trans that I met when I met them, they still anti-trans. Um, you can count parents. But how far did they go? And did they accept you, or do they tolerate you? That's another. You can't count the ones that just tolerate you because you just didn't change back. Yeah, it's only been a few. It hasn't been a lot. Usually, motherfuckers that are don't fuck with me because of homophobia or transphobia, or um, they're racist. They don't like black people. Any kind of ideology that somebody could have. I couldn't convince them. They either only way you are really convinced is by yourself. Like you like I even have my middle brother. Y'all know I have two brothers. Well, I have one that I haven't seen in years. That's in Korea. That's on my dad's side. So, but the ones on my mom's side, my youngest brother and then my middle brother, Rakim and Tony. Tony is the one that I had been estranged from because he was transphobic, and I hadn't talked to him for a couple of years. Not a couple of years, like 10 years, until my mom died. But even now, even though we have made up and apologies were made and we on good terms now, even now, regardless of how many talks that I've had with my brother still sends me like these videos that are clearly ludicrous homophobic notions. Like, the little videos where somebody's making a stupid homophobic or anti-trans argument that's stupid and very 101. And so uh, and he still has it's it's still a lot of work that he needs to do on his own to undo what he believes about homosexuals. But the thing about it is, most of the time when people believe something, they don't want to unbelieve it. They believe it for moral reasons. They believe it for whatever reason that they have. Most of them don't want to change it. It is very few people that I have met who are like, oh, I I have this belief, and especially if those beliefs are religiously rooted. Um, I have these beliefs, and ooh, I got new information that goes against my beliefs. It's very few people that I know that take that new information and shift. Usually, when they get the new information, they are trying to discredit that information. Discredit, discredit, discredit. But what about, but what if, but they're not taking the new information. Well, what about if this? They'll give you a whole extreme. Like Lord Jamal. He's like a rapper from the '90s, washed up old nigga, homophobic, always on Vlad, anti-trans, all that kind of stuff. He was talking about it's just unnatural. Y'all trying to make things that are unnatural be natural, and what makes them what's natural be unnatural, and blah 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 blah. Don't call me homophobic. Are you heterophobic? I done heard many gay men. I'm talking shit that he says. I've heard many gay men talk about uh heterosex is disgusting. Vagina is disgusting. Are they heterophobic or whatever? Don't call me homophobic and da 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 da. And then he goes into this argument. He goes into this argument. There's 27 of y'all in here. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. He goes into this argument about, and it's unnatural. Think about it. If everybody was gay, if everybody was gay, we wouldn't exist anymore. How we gonna continue the human race if everybody gay? Sir, at the highest numbers, at the highest estimated numbers, we about 10%. At the highest estimated numbers, it is 10% of gay people, queer LGBT people. It is about 10%, baby. You think 90% of folks not gonna be fucking and making babies? So you making this extreme argument doesn't make sense. And even the gay people out here trying to make babies, they're figuring out ways to have some children. You think they gonna be it just it's like that is such an extreme. That is too of an extreme possibility for you to be sitting and laminating in, in hate. You shouldn't be. It just feels weird. Lamenting in hate, not laminating. Lamenting in hate. It doesn't make sense. And so most of the time when I meet people like that, it's just I don't want to like gay people, or I don't want to like trans people. I don't want to believe trans people are women. So regardless of what you tell me, regardless of how many facts, how many nuances, however you present to me, I don't want to believe trans women are women. So, or trans men are men. So I'm not gonna believe it. And I'm gonna give you all these unnecessary scenarios. I just don't meet a lot of people who you have to want to change. Like I've had people who were like unsure. Like I remember my aunt. I have an aunt Georgia. My aunt Georgia, baby, she used to very much Bible thump. She was never mean in the sense of like didn't want me around, or she was never that. That was my girl from the beginning. But as far as my transit, she was very Bible thumpy, and this is wrong, and this is a phase, and you know I'm gonna let you do what you do, but I just feel like it's my responsibility as a Christian to remind you that this is wrong, and you were born a boy. She was very that. But come on and get you something to eat, baby, or come on ride with me to the store. Come on, it wasn't ostracizing, but it was very. It's my job to remind you. Now this is when I'm like 17, 18, 17, 18, and she would be like that. But as time went on, she started to have her own homosexual experiences. She started to our our relationship started to be there was a time in her life where me, like my branch of the family, like my mom and my brothers and shit, we was the only people in her corner. Like she was going through hard times, had two twin girls and a little boy, and she just was struggling. And we were the only people in her life like looking out for her, trying to get her on her feet and da 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 da. So that kind of relationship also changes the dynamic of, this is just, and me and my aunt, we were I didn't actually meet her until I was like 17, 18, because she lived in a whole other state. So I knew and heard of her, but she's not actually my mother's sister. She's my grandmother's sister, but she's younger than my mother. She's from my great grandfather's second marriage. So anyway, that's a long story. But she's younger than my mom. So she always lived somewhere else and not in Indianapolis or anywhere where we was at. But when I moved to Mississippi when I was 18, then I started being in community with them. And so we didn't really know each other. And so she immediately started with the Bible thumping shit. But once we got in this intimate relationship, as far as, we're in each other's lives and we're helping each other out. I remember my freshman year of college, I was broke. My very first semester was over the summer of 2000, and I didn't have no money. And she came, she drove down and filled up my refrigerator. So, and then I remember when her husband was cheating on her and moving in with other women, and she was by herself with babies and no help. And I used my summer of 2001, to come down to Ocean Springs and help her. I keep the kids while she go look for a job. Your aunt Georgia didn't mind letting us all know it. So yeah, she just was that. So there was a shift in our dynamic where, bitch, I'm one of the only people in your corner, bitch, and motherfuckers are trying to get me to stop fucking with you, because there's not a lot of people that fuck with you because of your personality, and you get what I'm saying. And I'm the only motherfucker dealing with it. And so it changed our dynamic. And then as she got older, she became a little bit more bisexual. Um, and then she just started to shift. She just started to shift. And it took years. That was 18. I think her shift started when I noticed it. It probably was like in my early 30s. And so she just shift. Once they understand that you are human, it is all good. I think that what is it? You hitting the nail on the head. I think that once they realize, because what happens, that's another element too. I'm glad you say that, because a lot of times people who are anti-trans, they don't know any trans people. That's ironic that people who have so much to say about us in our lives, they don't have queer people in their lives. Usually, people who have trans, gay, whatever people in their lives that are that gender identity is different or sexuality is different. Usually, they're able to see us as human because they are engaging with us outside of just thinking of us as a stereotypical gay person, trans person, whatever. Before they met you, whatever the world have ingrained and indoctrinated in their head to think about trans people, you get to come in when they actually meet a trans person. You get to come in and dispel some of the myths. You get to come in and be a human. I'm actually a real person. I actually have feelings. And all that stuff that you would say about trans people, it is very different when you got to say it to me in my actual face, because I am very, very, and not just on no violent stuff, but it is very rare that somebody says some transphobic stuff to me in my face. Very rare. And I'm not talking about, oh no, oh, people are scared of me. No. Most people don't want to be that confrontational. So if they have a problem with you, usually they don't tell you. They don't say. It is very rare that somebody in my face have said, "Oh, I know that you were born this way, so I'm gonna call you this. I'm gonna say you're a man. I'm gonna say I'm use." Even if they're the type that don't want to use your right pronouns, it is different. They struggle to do it. and they're rare. And if you correct them, they very very seldomly are standing on I'm doing this in your face. It's very different. Very, very different. Let me see. Mike, that's the sad part to me. Give me my humanity off rip. I shouldn't have to prove it. Amen. Um, and look, I say this a lot. We are talking about people who are opposed, but there's elements within ourselves that we got to work through as well. I don't. Anytime I am critiquing somebody who may be conservative, there is a version of that conservatism on the left, on this side of the aisle. You'll find conservative trans people, conservative queer people, conservative everybody. And so when we're looking at these people who are judging us, we have to make sure we're not reflecting that on some aspects in our own community as well. When we think about no fats, no films, when we think about all those kind of little nuances within our community. Oh, um what is it? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Those little kind of people, like the trans people that are so against non-binary people, that we have to be very very careful with within ourselves how we are dehumanizing people as well. So I know it's easiest for us to point the finger at somebody who is homophobic or transphobic, da da da. But those internalized things can be in us too, and it shows up in our own community. Um, yes, mature people do that from the beginning. Um, all that you a fucking man, you ain't no woman, don't happen for real. Facts. They never have that smoke face to face. Yeah, it's very rare. It's very rare that somebody is, excuse me, I just ate. Um, is somebody in my face doing it. But also, if somebody is bold enough to be disrespectful to me, it is never when they're alone. It's always them. It's really less about me being what I am and more about them trying to get some cool points for the people that they are around. Because they never have no smoke. Look, just think about, I remember in college, it showed up all the time. If a dude who normally would talk shit about me um, saw me like coming down the stairwell or walking down the hallway, like we're passing or crossing each other, what happened in high school too, they would be silent. They wouldn't say anything. It would be nothing, dust, crickets. But soon as they are in a group of motherfuckers, now I have to say something about the fag, the trans, the whatever. I have to say something about this person because it's more about me getting, some points. Look at me. Let's make fun of the queer person. It's rare, very, very rare that, I had somebody, I'm trying to think, has it ever happened? Yeah, it's never alone. But that's the other thing too. Since the topic is turning niggas out, being turned out or whatever, that's another element of like disclosure. I have never, ever, 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 ever told a dude my tea when we were alone and he tripped out. Never. They might not be down with it. They might not be cool with the fact that I'm trans, but never had somebody get violent. Never had somebody do any of that. The only time that I have had people to get violent when I tell my tea is when my tea is spilled around people. When my tea is spilled around people, now they got a showboat. Now they got I gotta protect my manhood. I gotta protect my sexuality. Oh, how dare you look like a woman? How dare me be attracted to you because you're tricking people and looking like a woman. Let me let me puff my chest out. Oh my eye. Puff my chest out and let them know I'm not gay. But yeah, it's always about other people being involved. When I'm by myself and I tell the trade my tea child, 9 times out of 10, it's very, oh, for real? Damn, I didn't even know. So you got a pussy? So how we gonna do it? So what can we do? It is definitely not nothing crazy. I remember this dude. Now, I don't be in years ago, yes, but in my older years, I don't just be out here tricking people, trying with the intention of tricking people. Now, there are situations where there are situations where I have my tea on my page. I'm not hiding my tea. My tea is on my page. You know, my all my social stuff is Diamond Style, so you can find me. You can Google Diamond Styles and find out my tea, and you know what I'm saying. It's not a secret. But I have been in situations where I meet somebody and they are fine as hell, and I realize in the middle of our interaction that I don't think they read my page. I don't think they know my tea. Because based on what they're asking me or based on what they're doing and talking about, oh, you couldn't have read my page. And this could happen in the middle of a date. And I think they know my tea because I put it on my page and I thought maybe we talked about it. I'll say something, did you read my page? And they'll say yes and da 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 da. So I'm under the impression when we out on this date that they know my tea. And then when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, he doesn't know my tea. And so in that moment, I have to make the choice. Do I want to have this person or do I not want to have this person? Because I did what I was supposed to do. At the end of the day, my intention was for you to know my tea. It wasn't a secret. So I say, okay. I've been in situations where, oh, I just want to have, so I'm just gonna go ahead and have. And if anything go down, nigga, it was on my page, my nigga. So I remember I had this boy, fine as hell, and we had been on 2 dates at this point, and this is like date 2, and I realized that he doesn't know my tea, but I want to have him. So I bring him back to my house and get to gobbling that meat, and in the middle of gobbling that meat, that's when I tell my tea. That's just what it is. And so, and so in the middle of the situation, he's like, I'm here now. And so we finish. We finish. We do everything. And so we done. And I go back to his page the next day. He done blocked me. He done deleted me as his friend. He done did all of this stuff. 2 years later, I get a DM from him. Talk about I buy your apartment. Can I come through? that is usually that is usually the scenario. Soon they ask what we gonna do, I give them the rates. I know that's right. Usually, if I'm hooking up at this age, at this big grown woman age, it's for me. It's not for them. I'm so hard to clock, so I have to be upfront. Okay. when they give, when they give, do you have any kids? I know they don't know my teeth. That's a great question to indicate if they know your teeth or not. Hey Parker, Key and Carrie. Hey, they always come back. Always. I thought you blocked me. That's exactly what I be saying. I was like, oh, you're back. and no, you can't come back. It depends on the scenario. Like if they weren't, like if they, well, it depends on how the session went. That's first and foremost. But if they weren't like shady, like, some people evolve. Now, if you get all disrespectful, then no. Right. Definitely depends on if you want the piece again. So yeah, I just think yeah, I never had a dude have an issue with my tea in the sense and be like violent or be any kind of like that unless it's in front of people. It's never by themselves. Now I've had a dude who I told my tea and he was not down with it and he left. I've had that. That's a rare moment, but I've had it. It definitely has happened a few times. No, I didn't. I'm not the person that you could just pop up on. My house be messy, and I don't be feeling like cleaning. so I need to know you coming, like about 30 minutes before. You can't just pop up. Mm. and then I don't like then just popping up to hook up without us having some type of flirty conversation back and forth. That also pisses me off too. Just us not having any kind of conversation before. We ain't flirted. We ain't exchanged no pictures. We ain't said nothing cute back and forth. We ain't did nothing. You just, oh, I'm by my house. Can I come through? What? No. Get the fuck out of here. I don't like that. So we were on my podcast, the new episode that went out on Thursday. We talked about, one of the subjects that I brought to the table was about to Marsha's plate. Um, was how people be I just don't understand why straight people, for whatever reason, in their brain, they don't accept or understand the fluidity of sexuality. I don't get it. I don't like to pop up either, especially if it's on a day I want to be alone in my house. Yeah, that's true as well. I just don't like pop ups. I I can do like an hour or two in advance. Like if you hit me up and we chit chatting, I can do that. I prefer a day in advance. I prefer to know, oh, I'm gonna see you tomorrow at this time. That's how I like to get down. But like if it's somebody that I already deal with and I know they like to give head and they just want to come over and give me some head because they buy me da 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 da, then an hour and a half, I can deal with that because come on through. But if we hooking up. If I got a douche for the shit that we doing, we need to plan. So, so yes, I just I just don't understand why they act like they don't understand the the fluidity of sexuality. So let me ask y'all this. Do y'all feel, say a person is straight all their life, never never had got bit by the bug to be curious about um the opposite sex. I mean the same sex. They're heterosexual and they go through their life, heterosexual. And then at like 35, for whatever reason, they meet somebody and it opens up the floodgates of curiosity and they mess around with that person and they didn't like it. And so back to heterosexuality they go. Is that person gay? Not gay. Bisexual? Just because they tried it that one time? Just because they had that one moment of switching it up? Because we hear a lot of conversations from, especially straight women, women, when you ask them the question, would they date a bisexual man or a man that messed around once? We saw it on Insecure when the boy the boy told her that he had got his dick sucked in college and didn't never do it again. Um, they have a hard time accepting people's bisexuality, and one of the reasons they say is because once you've done it, it's hard for them to believe that you won't you're not gay or bi. They usually don't say bi, but they usually say you're not gay. And so, and then queer people, soon as don't get them mad because they gonna call you out on your one, and they know that you done messed around one time before. They gonna call you out. I done seen that happen too. Of course, it's a difference between the women's. I talk about my mother a lot. My mother's sexuality is quite interesting. Nobody talks about my mother in in a way that acknowledges that my mother was a queer woman. Nobody talks about my mother like when I talk to everybody in my family about my mom, even my aunt Georgia. Now that she done messed around. My mama was in a whole relationship for a year and a half with a woman. But when we talk about gay people in our family, my mother never comes up in the conversation. Queer people in my family, she never comes up as one of the examples. It's always me, my cousin Duke, my cousin Felix, all the people who were assigned male at birth, who either are gay, trans, or bi, because that's what us three are. I'm trans. My uncle Felix is just a gay man, and my cousin Duke is, he say bisexual, so I don't want to, disrespect his label that he accepts. He say bisexual, but I ain't never seen him with no woman. Let me say that. I ain't never seen he in a marriage with a man right now, and I ain't never seen him with no woman. I ain't never seen him flirting with no woman. I ain't never seen him dating no woman. But he claims to be bisexual. I guess that's only in his brain because it ain't in his action. But anyway, when the last time you been with a woman, sir? But we know bisexuality is, sometimes I mainly like this, but I like this a little bit. So, there's nuances, spectrum within bisexuality. I don't want to erase that from him, but I be side eyeing him because I'm like, boy, I feel like you got some internalized homophobia in you, and you just use the bi label to not be all the way over here. You don't want to be one of those gays. So anytime our family asks you, you just want to give the bisexual label so you're not all the way over here. And that's what I feel. But they never given very I kissed woman once, but clearly I'm bi, very that. But yeah, so my mother is a perfect example. Nobody talks about my mother as if she is a queer woman, even though she had been in a relationship with a whole ass lesbian for a year and a half. It wasn't, I'm just trying something. It was, I'm in a relationship with a woman, a whole stud. But nobody talks about her in that kind of way. And so I find it interesting when people try stuff out of them have varying different how they consider them. Do you think it's possible to be in a relationship with a woman and still not really identify as bi? Who are we talking about? I think you labels are labels. It's well, I don't think my mother identified as bi, but she was with a woman. H- I just don't understand how you cannot, unless it's just you just not accepting it. And this wasn't and I actually I'm the people who if it's you just trying something out and it's like a one time deal, yeah, that's not really my thing. So I'm gonna go back over here. I'm one of the people that think I don't think you gay. I don't think you bi. I just think you tried something out and went over here. It didn't work out and you back to your norm. But I think it's a very different thing for a one-time fling and I'm in a relationship for a year and a half with a woman. Yeah, she liked that woman. Well, no, no, no. My mother wasn't that. My mother, there's other women that my mother liked. Would you consider Whitney Houston bi? Yes. Based on Robin's account of their relationship and everybody else account confirming what Robin was saying. Yes. I think so, Kitty. You can be homo romantic and not sexually attracted to them. Homo romantic. Explain that, Andre. Explain that a little bit more. Homophobia makes people do weird things in the name of their sexuality. Controversial opinion. AFAB individuals, lesbian, trans men, etc., do of course can have it real rough. However, generally, it was the AMAB people that really go in on. Um, I think when it comes to sexuality and people's acceptance of people's sexuality, I do think that in that in that area, AFAB people have it a little bit easier. I think that's why when you see trans men, they usually are partner. They usually they trans when they transition, they stay with their partner or they get another partner, and you get what I'm saying, that accepts their man, and it's not a big of a deal. It's just something that now, while they're in their relationship, they might have, I've heard of trans men saying that once they transition to be a man, their partner still identifying with being a lesbian made them uncomfortable. I've heard that. But as far as general, it's a difference. Yes, definitely. Please explain. I get someone being the exception to the rule because you adhere to enough of traits of the opposite sex that the person is attracted. Basically, you fall in love. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. I'm aromantic. I don't have romantic attraction to men or women, but I'm homosexual mostly. Homoromantic is romantically wanting to be with a man as a man. Okay. So I'm aromantic. I don't want to have a romantic attraction to men or women. Okay. But I'm homosexual mostly. I'm trying to gather that. So when we talk about romance, are we talking about a relationship? Because when I think of romance, I think because some people, when I hear somebody say, "I'm I want to be in a romantic relationship with a man," so I have a friend named Queen. She's been on the show a couple of times. Queen's the way she described her sexuality is she wants to be in a relationship, romantic relationship with a man, but she is also sexually attracted to women, but she doesn't want to be in a romantic relationship with a woman. So when I think of romance, I'm thinking about relationship. And so when you say I'm aromantic, and explain it to me if I'm wrong. It means that you don't want to be in a relationship with men or women, but then you say I'm homosexual mostly. So that means you like fucking niggas. Is that what that means? It's like I don't want to be in a relationship with any one of these motherfuckers, but I like fucking niggas. I'm trying to put it in layman terms. Is that what you mean? Homo romantic is romantic wanting to be with a man as a man. I dealt with a man in college who was homo romantic but was not sexually attracted to men. Homo romantic. What does that look like? A man being in a relationship with another man, is that just your homie? It's just you want to cuddle with you don't want to fuck your homie, you just want to cuddle with your homie? How many men is like that? They don't want to get their nut off. I'm not saying that it's not real. I want to know how that works. What's the difference between a homo romantic man? Is it more intimate than just a friendship between two men? I understand bromance. I understand that, like y'all, but if it's no sex, so what's the difference between being a regular friend with another man, just another friend, just my homie, and a non-sexual homoerotic relationship? Not homo romantic relationship, not homoerotic, homo romantic relationship. Y'all teaching me something. I don't know nothing about these. I've heard these words, but I don't because I don't experience them. I don't know exactly. Okay, I think most people have explored. They just don't say it. There was a study done that shows cishet women were more willing to change or stretch their sexual orientation to be with trans men. Mm-hmm. 'Cause there's a So there's a difference between romance and sex. No, I know there's a difference between romance and sex. Romance, when I think of romance, I think of romance in the sense of a relationship. Like I can fuck Tom, Dick, and Harry, but I don't want to be in a relationship with them. I mean, they don't want to. I'm catching up, y'all. I'm sorry. They don't want to be in a romantic relationship, but they get down jiggly. They got it. That's correct. They go okay. So I'm on it. Exactly. Romance doesn't have to be sexual, but it's mental. Catching up, catching up. Yeah, I don't get that. That's asexual stuff. I get asexual, just a person I don't be fucking like that. Like I or they don't fuck at all. Like they just don't have the libido or they just don't have that. It sounds like a curious man but not willing to fully explore. I think so too. I don't know. I don't want to it just I don't know. I just never experienced that or saw it. So, I don't know. I wouldn't cuz niggas be wanting to fuck. When I was young and dealing with boys that knew I was a boy, it wasn't no girl situation. It was just boy on boy. Niggas was trying to get that dick wet. So I don't know these kind of boys. And then once I got older, there was a woman, baby. Niggas be trying to put that dick in there or get that dick put in them. Pretty much, he was discovering that he liked men in an intimate way and wanted to be with them, but had no sexual attraction. What? I understand what you're saying. What does being intimate with another man look like if it's not sex? Just cuddling and rubbing? And then if what does it look like? How does that physically manifest? How does so we're not having sex. Cool. So what does being intimate with another man, if you're a man, look like? What does get explain that to me? Explain what give me some physical actions. What's happening between these two? And so then we get into what do we define as sex? Is making out sex? Are they kissing? Because these could be sexual things. Like when we talk about sexual harassment, a dude could kiss me and that's sexually harassment because um that's why it's called sexual harassment because you're fucking kissing me. You're doing something that's too intimate. And so when we get into these sexual things that are not actual penetration, that may not be oral sex, are they doing those things too? Because that still could be sexual. I don't know. It gets kind of like, what? That just feels like a person that's scared to have sex. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. I'm like, so especially how men are about sexuality. So you want to be intimate with a man and do nothing. That has to be a lonely existence in the queer life. Because niggas be trying to get down. So how are you? Oh, I don't want to have sex. I just want to sit next to you. Will you come over? And I want to sit next to you and lay on your lap and hug you. Or I don't know. Is that how it looks? There are asexual people who still have sex with their partner. God, that sounds horrible. That doesn't sound pleasurable. If because if I'm not turned on, if I'm not sexual, and I'm just laying there having sex just because I have a partner, that just doesn't sound like a great existence. It sounds like I'm laying myself there to be your human blow up doll when this is not for me at all. Because for what I'm to understand, asexual, they don't have sexual attraction. I'm just laying there. You're my partner, and I know you want to have sex, and so let me lay here and let you have sex because this is your thing. Yeah, homo romantic heterosexuals. That is a interesting state of being that I think a lot of men are. There is a level of me thinking about that. I'm heterosexual, but I'm homo romantic. We know men who really don't like women. They really admire and love their homies and their homeboys, and they don't want to fuck them, but they everything about their homeboys they love, but they don't like anything about women other than a vagina. So I want to have sex, heterosexual sex, but I want to spend my time with my homeboy, my homies. I think there is a lot of men. Um, no, not incels. Incels, they do want romantic relationship. They just want it to be um they want sex and the romance with women, but they want it to be patriarchal. Um but I'm talking about being homo romantic but heterosexual. I think that there's a lot of men like that actually. I think where they really don't like women romantically. They want don't they really just be in relationships just because that's the status quo thing to do. But they would spend most of their time with dudes and fuck women. But yeah, thumbs up if you're in here watching. You see what I'm saying? So it's and we got that new, especially as a trans woman. There is trying to think of just different sexual fluidity that I have experienced. So as somebody who was an escort for 5 years of my life, um, how people's sexuality and how they label themselves, and it was so different when it comes to um, how people responded to my transness. So the typical thing that is easy for us to understand, or we see it often. You meet a dude. He sees you as a woman because he doesn't know you're trans when he first sees you. He just looks at you and you're a beautiful woman to him. And so he is a heterosexual man that's normally attracted to women and cis women. And then he sees you to visually to him, you look like his type of cis woman. And so his initial attraction to you was because he did not know you were trans. He thought you were, he saw the woman that you are. And so bam, I'm attracted to you. But then you throw in this idea of transness, okay? And so I have to decide if to me as a man, not me, Diamond, but as the hypothetical trade, I have to decide if the attraction is enough for me to explore this new idea of womanhood. Okay? Because my idea, my old idea was women are born with vaginas. They're the ones who can conceive children. They have periods, the stereotypical cis woman. That's my idea. But now I meet you and I'm attracted to you. Is that attractiveness enough for me to expand what I think a woman is and explore my sexuality and expand my sexuality and include you into it? So that's typical. Okay. That's usually the trade. um, and I'm explaining it with a gender identity nuance. There's also a sexuality nuance, that gay men or a gay person, depending on what we talk about. We talk about trade right now. So a gay man. So I meet this dude, this gay boy, and I have to decide if I want to explore this with this gay boy. And is me just getting this nut and not being romantically attracted to him? Does that make me gay? Do I expand my mindset about what is gay or what is straight? Because if you think about it, like, am I still straight if I just get my dick sucked? Am I still straight if I just do the topping? This is the type of negotiations these men are having with themselves to justify, because our world is homophobic. So they have to internally justify them doing something. Now, externally, most people are going to be like, "Oh, if you do anything with a man, you are gay," and they know that because it responds, the homophobic response to any man being sexual with another man. So, but for them, if this is what they want to do, they have to negotiate that within themselves to make it work. All right. So a dude could say, I could I only get some head. I ain't gay, I only get some head. And a mouth is a mouth. And that's their now somebody on the outside could say, man, that's bullshit. But to themselves, they're negotiating it. Another one could be like, this is another thing about the transness. So you have the people who are like, oh, I saw you as a woman. My body and my attraction responded to you as a woman. And so I think of you as a woman. Got it? But you also have the dudes who are, I want to explore homosexuality, but God, I don't want to be with a man. I wish that I could find somebody who has a penis that looks like a woman. Oh, trans. Boom. And that's their entryway into being homosexual, but the compromise is you have a penis, but you look like a girl. You see the difference? One is looking for a way into homosexuality, and one is trying to understand their attraction to you as a woman because they didn't know that you have, they don't still might not know that you have a penis, or they don't know, because sometimes you don't. They just know that you were not born a cis woman and they are attracted to you. So how do I reconcile this? Am I explaining the two different ones? And those kind of two different kind of men confuses the hell out of other people. Trans women understand it because we got to navigate this. There's tons of men who I feel like I was their gateway into homosexuality. And there's tons of men who I was their gateway into expanding what they think about what is considered a woman. Get the difference? They both fucking with me. However they come to it. But there's a difference between how they mentally think about me as a person and how I play into their sexuality. Am I explaining this right? Am I explaining it well enough? Get the difference between those two type of men? To me, in my own, this Diamond Styles, to me in my own brain, one of them is gay and one of them is straight. Even though they both messing with me. Now I can't say this about all trans women, so I'm only speaking for Diamond Styles. If I talk to a man and I can tell that he just thinks of me as he respects my pronouns, he respects me as a woman, he treats me like a woman, but I can tell by how he talks, I can tell by how he was introduced to me, I can tell that I am just a gateway to homosexuality for him. He wants to do some gay shit like get fucked, suck some dick, put his dick in some booty hole. He wants to do the stuff that he considers homosexual, but he just doesn't want to do it with a man. Queerness exists in both those individuals you're describing. I would say I agree with you. I wouldn't say that they agree with you. But I agree. Yes. I don't think especially this one on this side, especially the one that is expanding his idea of a woman. Okay? It's not he wanted to be homosexual or do homosexual stuff. It is I'm attracted to the woman that I see. And so how do I make this work with you? I don't think of I don't think he would think that he was queer. I would, just the fact that you are crossing the line, I wouldn't call you gay, but I would call you're queering your idea, your sexual ideas. You're queering it by actually going outside of the box. You are queering it. Even and to me, even if it's a woman that's pegging you, I think you are queering your idea of sexuality. Maybe not gay. I wouldn't label you as gay if you're getting pegged by a woman. No, I wouldn't label that as gay. I would label it as you're exploring anal penetration with a woman. Still heterosexual sex. Call my meter click and let's get the show on the road. The queerness is the freedom from those limitations of heteronormativity in this example. I agree. I feel like trans amorous people represent the plus part, the LGBTQ plus part. Yes, I can see plus. So, um, and then there's a dominance and submissive layer to it as well. Um, there's this dude that I used to fuck with in high school, and he was um he was really attractive, and he all the girls chased him, and from how he describes it, this is how he describes it. He describes me as he was like, "You don't treat me like other bitches treat me. Like you treat me like I ain't shit, and it makes me want to bow down to you." So he has this kind of dominant, submissive aspect of his sexuality that um that dominates our relationship. He likes the idea that I'm not head over heels for him. He likes the idea that I am he liked the idea that I talk about how little and late his piece is. Because his piece is little and late. He's very beautiful as far as his look. He's very cute. He's a cute boy. I don't want to say beautiful. That's a little stretch. Um, he's handsome, but other people, because he's not really my type. Other, I can tell that he's traditionally handsome to other people. Does that make sense? Like, I'm trying to think of somebody who I don't like but people love. Um, Jesse Williams. That's a perfect example. So Jesse Williams, if Jesse Williams went to my high school, looking how he does, but as a high schooler, people would have loved him. Like they would have been, oh, Jesse Williams, oh, he's so fine. Oh, this, oh, that. I don't like that look. I don't like Michael Ealy. Um, yeah, I don't like that kind. I don't like mixed looking boys. I don't like that ain't my vibe. I like you. I like boys that look black, and they don't necessarily have to be dark skinned. Even the light skinned ones that I fuck with, they, I need you to look black. I don't want you to. I like you to have black features. I like you to have um, black stuff going on with you. um, Idris Elba is somebody that is an example too. I'm not attracted to Idris Elba, but other people are. But I'm just the traditional handsome type dude. That's not really my style. Um, so he's like that. He's like a traditionally handsome man that everybody in our high school was falling over and oh, they were they just were. What is black? I don't want you to be ambiguous. It could be anything. It could be I like you to have lips. I like you to have a nose. I like you to have melanin, whatever the phenotypical black stuff is. I need you to look like um, Boris Cujo is a good example. He fine as hell, but mm, he is cute. Are we allowed to say Jonathan Majors? I don't think Jonathan Majors is a stereotypically handsome guy, but he's my type, top to bottom, my type down. Yes, that's my type. Um, so, but there's a, and so that's what he is. So, but he's used to women falling all over him, and so when he meets me, and I'm like, I'm flirty enough to want to have him because the reason why I wanted to have him was more of an ego play for me. It was more of a it's not it was more because everybody else wanted you than me wanting you. Once he flirted and opened up the door for me to see that I can pull him. It was more about getting him on the record. It was more about I had this person. A lot of times, because this is strange, but this is um my own personal shit that I was I don't want to say going through. It wasn't a going through. When I was younger, I had people just because I knew other motherfuckers would believe that I didn't have them or I couldn't have them. It was almost like a competition with the world, like not with other people, but with, oh, you think I can't have him? Oh, well, I'm gonna show you that I can. It was more like, and it wasn't like I'm telling people. It was for myself. It was, I can have whoever the fuck I want to have. You think I can't have them just because I was born a boy, or you think I can't have them because I'm trans? I can have any motherfucker in here. Some of them are harder to pull. Some of them are easy. So, but I can have whoever I want. There ain't been none that I ain't had that. Some been hard. I gotta admit that. Some have been hard. It took me some time, but I had them. I eventually had them, and it was just about, um, yeah. And he was one of them. I didn't. It was the concept of him, and I tell him this. I tell him I was like, the real you isn't that spectacular. And he lives for this because he likes me to talk shit to him and belittle him. But this is my real feelings. It's not just me doing it to hurt his feelings. It's just my real feelings. And so I tell him, I'm like, the concept of you is way more amazing than the actual you. So when I had you back then, I was having the concept. I was like, oh, everybody loves this dude. So the fact that the trans woman is getting him on the list. When you finally got him, were you happy or turned off? I wasn't turned off. He's not ugly, so I don't want to. I don't. It's not. This is an ugly person. He's attractive. He's just. If I had to list all the dudes I wanted to have in high school, he is not in my top 10. He is not in my top 20. Hmm, yeah, he's not in my top 20. You see what I'm saying? He's not on the bottom, but he ain't in my top. So, but yeah, he's not somebody you're not gonna be attracted to. But my point of bringing him up is that he is it. There's a dominant thing in him. There's a there's a dominance that he likes, that my personality is like having a rare Pokemon card that's not very powerful in actual use. Yes. Um, and that's a perfect example. um, and so in our relationship over this years, I've asked him why he hasn't found other people to mess around with. And he was like, because it's not just about you being a trans person. That's not actually what I'm attracted to with you. The reason why it's you is because I met you in an in-person space and I was allowed to see your personality. You get what I'm saying? I was turned on by you by how you treated me, not because you're just a trans person. And so I don't know if this is true. I think it's true, but I don't follow him around. Um, um, but because we don't have a relationship of lies, and we don't have a relationship of he has no reason to lie to me about it. But he just says I just ain't. It's about you. And so we deal with each other. When I come in town, we deal with each other, and he's cool. You know what I'm saying? He's a cool person, but it's something about what made him queer. His sexuality it was something that the dominant thing triggered in him. What else? Um, and then just simple hormones and curiosity. I think sometimes I don't think, especially I don't think some people understand the power of testosterone on your mental, um, especially people with high testosterone levels. Um, I remember when I was high, when my testosterone is high, when I haven't been on hormones, when I haven't done anything like that, and my testosterone is high, there's certain times of the day that I can't really focus because my brain is thinking about sex. Like I actually got a nut to to do something to be normal, to focus on what I need to do for the day. And it's a powerful thing. Like it can be especially somebody like me, and I don't know how this affects everybody else, but I'm like ADD. And so I'm easily distracted onto something else. So if I'm horny, I can't think about doing other stuff because my brain is going to constantly get distracted in the direction of how I'm gonna get some dick, how I'm gonna get my nut, how. So I either gotta jack off to cut the edge down. I got a nut just to, or I'm gonna be thinking about it. I'm gonna be thinking, and I don't think people understand the power of that and how if you're in a scenario where there's somebody outside of your norm that meets you in that moment, how easy it is for you to cross a line that you normally in your right mind wouldn't cross. I've met I've met people who are definitely not my type. Not attractive, not my type, but I'm horny and they got a big old dick. And I'm like, ooh, ooh, maybe. Or I'll mess with a dude and in the moment I catch them just at that right time. You can it's some people it's about the circumstances. It's about I know if I had a chance from a dude perspective, this is how they described it to me. In the moment I have this chance to do it, if I overthink it, I'm not gonna do it. If I got enough time to be like, should I do this? Should I not? I'm gonna say no and kind of run away. But if you catch me in this perfect spot, this perfect moment where I'm ready and willing to say yes, and you take it, boom, then I get turned out. Then I messed around because I you didn't give me a chance to back out. You just took the chance while I was horny, ready to try it. Da 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 da. I've seen people in that situation with me and feel guilty as hell after, unless they really liked it. Then that guilt don't matter because they really enjoyed it. And then I'm trying to think about, and there's been times when I've been in situations with dudes, and I feel like I had to plant the seed. Like I had to say something, do something to put the seed. And this is coming from the church, coming from a church background. Sometimes this makes me feel like the devil. But I've been in situations where I intentionally planted the seed in their brain by talking to them nasty. And while they initially was like, "Ah, you tripping, da 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 da," ah, I don't get down like that. Come on, you tripping. Just the fact that I planted the seed, I done planted some nasty thought in your head, and then every time you see me for the rest of our engagement together, whether it be at school, at work, wherever you see me, you're it's gonna spark the idea of the nasty thing that I said to you. And once you put that there, you just it's just eventually it's gonna be, I've been thinking about what you said. I might want to try that. You sound nasty as hell. Hmm. I've had that experience where I just planted the seed and they watered it. I ain't have to do nothing. Gotta plant the seed to get his seed. Amen. Ruin their chances. um, I usually in my situation, I like to be chased, but I am a passive aggressive kind of I put myself in the position to be chased. So they might think that they're chasing me, but they don't know that I set this whole thing up. I've been in that. I've been in a bunch of situations like that where I'm setting this up, but I'm just putting you in a position to chase me. Because I like to be chased. Let me cut these um, lights down because my nose is starting to itch because of these lights. Woo. Yeah, it's just something that I have experienced, and then let's talk about gay male versus trans male or trans woman, because there's a lot of gay men that love to be in competition with trans women when it comes to the trade, and because we're talking about sexuality, if you think that there's not no overlap, you are a fool. If you are, if you're a trans woman or a gay man and you think that there is not an overlap, if you had a Venn diagram of the niggas that are fuck with us, that are fuck with you, if you think that there's no overlap, you are a fool. And conversely, the opposite is true. If you are think that there's some dudes who would mess with me, just because they mess with me, they would mess with you, you are a fool too. Both of those people are a fool. If you think that there's no overlap, you're a fool. And if you think that there's some pieces that we can't exclusively have for ourselves, you a fool too. Because there are some dudes who will only mess with trans women that won't mess with a gay dude. It's just the facts of the matter. I know you think that we the same thing, but we not. And some men are really, really strict about that. Because I've had boys, and especially not as an old old woman, but as a young woman, I've had boys, and I told some of my gay friends, and because I told them that I messed with the boy, the gay dude think that he can. My gay friend think he can go and try to have the boy, and then try to spill the beans. Like, I know you had Diamond. Why won't you have me? I've had those situations, and I had to explain to you, baby, you ain't Diamond. Yes, if we're talking about men in general, men will literally mess with anything with a hoe. Yes, I totally agree. But I also feel like there are some men with a standard and a standard that they don't cross. There are some men who only fuck with female figures at a certain level as well. Yeah, there are. It's kind of like it's, and there's also men who are like, I'll mess with a butch queen, but I'm not messing with no trans woman. If I'm gonna be with a woman, it's gonna be a cis woman. Mm. The breasts need to be jiggling and moving. Facts. And there are some men who are like, Yeah, I'll get down with a boy, but he needs to be a boy. He could be a femme boy. He can be a masculine boy. He just needs to be a boy. I'm not gonna mess with no trans woman because if I wanted a woman, I would just be with a cis woman. There are tons of men I know that think like that. That's just real. Hey, Chris. Hey, Maxwell. Hey, Coco. So yes, like who there are people that are that overlap, and there are people who are exclusively into those particular things. Yeah, are there people who just don't care, mess with anybody, any human? All you need is a heartbeat. Yes, those exist, but just like trans women, there are trans women who are strictly bottoms. They don't do any topping. There are trans women who are strictly tops and don't do any bottoming. And then you got the verse girls who like it all, like myself. I prefer men that have a type of trans woman they go after. Um, when I was younger, I'd be like that. You can't be running around with the cross dressers and the men in wigs and yeah, I, honey, you can't. Then I'm gonna be. I can't deal with that. Works my nerves. But but now that I'm getting to the point where how do you feed my ego, motherfucker? I don't care what I don't even ask motherfuckers who they mess with, who they like, and da da da. How are you coming on to me? I don't care. You be a now. I don't care what you are. Cis woman. Only motherfucker that I'm very, very against having is other trans women. That is weird to me. I don't want to have another trans woman. That's weird. No, thank you. So no. But if you're anything else, um, how are you coming on to me? How are you making me feel like I'm that bitch? That's what I care about now. I don't care about identity and blah 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 blah. I'm bringing the tits and a dick. I don't need the other girl to bring the tits and a dick. No, thank you. Would you have a butch cis girl? Yes. I rarely get hit on by cis women. Rarely. Very rarely. Um, but I'm also rarely attracted to them. There are some that I'm attracted to, but it's rare. And so I might not even notice when uh, other ones do, but I'm rarely getting hit on by cis women. They're like Asian men. I have never got hit on by Asian men. Like out and about, an Asian man coming up to me saying, "Damn, baby girl, you fine," or trying to holler at me. Never, not one time have I ever got hit on by an Asian man. What about a butch trans girl? No, thank you. I don't want. I actually don't want anything with tits and a dick, child. I don't want none of that. I don't want no parts of nothing that's a trans girl. No. Anything that is remotely like myself coming to the table, no. I need you to be, if you're gonna be a girl, it's gonna have to be a cis girl. I've been in California and no Asian men have tried me. I have never had any Asian men um, try to talk to me. I've had Asian clients, but they don't have to talk to you. They just bring your rate. But I'm talking about just on a regular dude trying to talk to me. Only dudes try to talk to me is Latinx, um, black, of course, black, um, and very seldomly white men. And usually, if they white, they not young. They're usually in their 40s, established, you know. In NYC, the trade are now calling themselves non-binary. Oh, I ain't heard that ain't came down to Houston yet. We ain't got the trade calling themselves non-binary. Do you prefer black men? Yeah. That's black is always my bottom line. I'm always going to be attracted to black men, and I've accepted that I'm going to always be attracted to hood black men too. That's just my norm. Anything outside of that is just me exploring. Yeah, I don't. Trade ain't calling themselves non-binary. Not out here. We ain't got that progressive yet. I hope we do not. I've hooked up with an Asian guy before. It was cute. Yeah, I've had Asian clients like when I was escorting, but just a hookup with a Asian guy for fun. No. Did you watch Batman Final Chapter? No. I don't like those. The place that my anti-blackness shows up is in film. I do not like a lot of the Chitlin Circuit kind of films. The Best Man, The Wood, um, Love and Basketball, all those kind of. I ain't watched them. They had to be like really really good. No, hate Baby Boy actually. I've never sat. I tried to sit down and watch Baby Boy, and I couldn't. I like Boomerang. That's different. I think that's a different. Those are my my anti-blackness when I see a film that is. I'm trying to think of like Best Man is one. Um, any of those straight to DVD movies? No. Mm-mm. Black class films. Oh no, child. Not classic black. I'm talking about this like them kind of black. Like it's a I got a it's a particular type of movies that got Vivica Fox in it. Not except for Set It Off. Them kind of C list celebrity movies. C list definitely no Tyler Perry. The Best Man was definitely The Wood. What other one? Everybody Hates Eva. Um, yeah, it's hard for me to explain what it is. Not the first Soul Food, but like the Soul Food series, any stuff like the Wood, the Brothers, Deliver Us from Evil, all of that. Yes, all of that. That's where my anti-blackness show up because I like it to be a little bit more elevated, and it for some reason I've seen a thin line between love and hate, but I'm not going back to watch it again. But y'all getting in the vein. um, Now certain classics like that I love, like Harlem Nights, Life, um, Love Jones. They just were more elevated to me. You're not going to see Baps the play. No, I saw Baps one time and that was it. The Wiz, these are classic. Not don't go that far back. Players Club, no. The Wiz is a classic. I love The Wiz. I don't watch it a million times. Um, when it's two black people, call it a black movie. Yes, that level. Baps is yeah. I watched Baps once. That was about it. Maybe twice. Not on my own. I probably was at somebody's house watching it. But on my own, no. It's so campy. Yes, it's very campy. Yeah, I'm trying to y'all know what I'm talking about. It's like any 40-year-old auntie when I was younger, when I was like in my 20s, the 40-year-old women, when you go to their house and they got DVDs, they got these movies. They got all those movies on DVD. Menage a Trois. It's like I can't explain it. Woo, I've seen Woo once. I don't Waiting to Exhale is too elevated. It's too many stars on there. No, I'm talking about no, not that. I don't consider them to be those are too elevated. I don't consider Best Man to be elevated for me in the thought. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. It's just some movies I don't live for. I think every movie that came on BET every afternoon. Yes, did you think like a man? That's one I'm not watching. Anything that got a bunch of niggas that are centered, anything that is written to the sensibilities of men, like the 90s black movies, anything that is written to the sensibilities of men or the sensibilities of two heterosexual where I'm like, it's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain. But this is where my anti-blackness comes up. Certain movies. Why do you think that is? I know why it is. It's because there's a lot of stereotypes of black people written into these films that makes me think about black people shucking and jiving. A lot of stereotypes in the characters. It's like Tyler Perry on crack. Not enough critical thinking with the writers. Yes, it's very stereotypical. Diamond said, "I'm not watching those coon tunes." Exactly. I be looking like, who wrote this? Who imagined these characters? Movies where black men are the main characters. Yes, if they are the typical cishet black men and they're not doing anything groundbreaking at the time that they were released. For example, I like Boys in the Hood. I thought at the time that it came out, it was a good movie. Like it was a good we hadn't seen that yet. So it was different. I watched that a couple of times, but yeah, it's just certain ones that I'm like, who is this for? It doesn't yeah, it doesn't do anything for me. I can't remember anything by Tyler Perry, but watch anything by Tyler. Yeah, I hate that he's going to buy BET. But that people who watch BET is Tyler's core people. You know, definitely middle class auntie, auntie, grandma, hood grandma. Yeah, I'm also not a comedy person. I was telling my homegirls that in our group chat that I don't watch comedy films a lot. Anything Kenya Bears, definitely not. No, thank you. Like Rush Hour, I've watched it, but you'll never see me watching Rush Hour on my own, like on my own. I'll never go to the movie to see Rush Hour. I never would have went to the movies to see that. That's not comedy movies aren't really my um yeah, that's not they can be if not everyone like if it's a girl like I went to see Girls Trip, but I went to see Girls Trip because it has a star-studded cast. It has Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett Smith. And Regina Hall. Yeah, I went to see it because it was a star-studded cast. Um, the stars that I think are, upper level stars. Anything. I enjoyed Girl Trip. I can't wait for the sequel. Yes, I enjoyed Girl Trip. I didn't like Baby Boy because I just didn't like it. I thought that I don't know. Taraji Yvette was just a. I don't know. It might have been at the time that Baby Boy came out. Let me see what year that was. Okay, Google. What time did Baby Boy the movie get released? Um, 2001. Okay, so that kind of explains a little bit. So in 2001, I was 20, my first year of college. um, there was still, I guess at this time of my life, I was 20, and I think that there was a tinge bit of respectability politics in me because the ghetto ness of Yvette and Jody, I despised it. I guess if I it just was too much. It felt like a character. It felt like yeah, it felt too much. It felt too much of a stereotype. And it wasn't nuanced enough. It just felt like a caricature of a black hood family. I have no idea who Pandora is. I've never actually watched Baby Boy all the way through. Never. I've seen the scene when Ving Rhames yoked up um Jody. I seen the scene um when the mama was gardening. I don't even know what she was talking about. But I know the mama was like, "Nigga, you grown." I know the idea. I need to find love for myself or something. I don't know. I don't like. I never watched the story. Never watched it. And I think don't ain't Snoop Dogg in it. Snoop Dogg was trying to holler at Yvette or something. I can't remember, but I never watched it all the way through. Yeah, I have no idea who. Yeah, I have no idea who Pandora is. I have not watched it enough to give you any of the storyline. Only thing I know is Ving Rhames yoking him up. Snoop Dogg tried to rape Yvette. So yeah, see, I don't know none of this. Prince Eric's mom is black in the new Little Mermaid. Hmm, interesting. I did watch Holiday Heart. I didn't really like it. I did watch it just because um, I think I was at somebody's house and they were watching it. Yeah, no, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you. So back to the conversation. When was the first time for y'all um that you met somebody that you were attracted to that was outside of your norm? Like, do y'all remember that person? And what was it about them that like turned you on about them? That was outside of your type. And I mean extremely outside of it. No, never heard of just another girl. Um, I think I remember the first time I had oh, does this count? Nah, it doesn't really count. Um, trying to think of an extreme. Yeah, Prince Eric definitely looked white. Outside of your whatever your type is, like what your normal type, like somebody that is kind of like if you were somebody that's outside, like if you usually deal with slim, tall, dark men, somebody short, light, and fat. You get what I'm saying? Somebody that is outside of what you normally like, whatever that may be. I don't know what you like. You're the only one who can answer that. So, have you ever been attracted to somebody and but it was something outside of what you normally fuck with? Like you surprised yourself. For me, it was a stud in college. And what about them made you attracted to them? What made that stud stand out? What was it about them? For me, it was a stud at work. And what was it about that stud that made them stand out? Once I worked through. What does working through look like? She had all the masculine qualities, but without all the toxicity of cis men. Mm. I'm open minded, so I have engaged with a wide variety of men. I would say like older black men in their 60s. That is your norm. Okay, so mm, that is outside of your norm. Mine would be this dude that I was in high school with named Finn. Finn was white, um, thick football player build, not the sexy thick, that kind of little bit over. Um, not that kind of thick thigh, thick arm kind of thick. He's that kind of thick around here. Just a, you know, apple shaped man. More than chubby. He definitely in the fat category. But he was tall. and like his face always had like redness. Like because he was white, his face be looking pink. Everything that I didn't like. But his vibe and his swag and how nice he was and how cool he was, it was and he had a masculine demeanor that was not ugly masculine. It didn't feel like he was putting on. It felt like I'm just a dude and I'm cool. And yeah, Finn was the first time I never messed around with Finn, but I was attracted to him. We even went to take our SAT together. Him and my trade, the actual trade I was messing with. All three of us went to excuse me, take our SAT together. And I wish I would have had both of them that day. I was stressed out. A friend of mine who is a trans woman, was the gateway to my sexual attraction to women. She taught me in wait, it's moving. Taught me in attraction. I'm attracted to the spirit, not just body parts. Very much pansexual now, as well as Demi. I'm meeting way more Demi. Was Finn cool? Like, did he know your teeth? Oh, definitely knew my teeth. This was in high school. My type stays consistently physical, but I have gone outside my personality type wise. Oh, so you haven't explored outside of your physical. What is going on? It feels like somebody sprayed some mace. Like my mouth is watering and my eyes feel itchy. Nose is itching. What is going on? I had to take the glasses off because I'm like, child, what is happening? Like as if somebody had sprayed some mace in apartment above me or something, and it's coming through the vents or something. Ooh. Would you date men who didn't just like girls? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know though. Um, I have to be honest. I'm probably. Are we talk about dating? Or we talk about having sex with? Mm. If we're talking about like a serious dating, I have to be quite honest. Um, I could mess with anybody. As far as a man, that's a man. But as far as dating a bisexual man, I'm real cisgender woman about it. I have to be honest. It it could be insecurity. It could be some of the same things that they say. But it's hard for me to. I don't like the idea that you could be attracted to. It, I have to worry about more people. I know I got to worry about it anyway, but at least if I have an idea that it is women that you like, and this is not going to be a good enough explanation, but it's the explanation. I feel safer when I know that you just like girls. Then I just only have to worry about if you're cheating on me with girls. Not that you can't cheat on me, but it's I can't deal. Now I can mess around with butch queens. You're problematic. I am. But my sexuality and my romantic life is not a democracy. It's a dictatorship. So I make the rules. So I could be as discriminatory for whatever reason as I want to be. No masculine butch queens. But I've had sex with butch queens. Um, I've had sex with butch queens. I've messed around with them, many of them. But to be in a relationship with somebody, yeah, I probably just wouldn't ask. It's a dictatorship, and I'm big. Exactly. I probably wouldn't ask. I don't know. It really just depends, like how they sweep me off my feet. I've never been in a situation where I was forced to reconcile that kind of biphobia. I haven't. Yeah, I haven't been in a situation where I was forced to reconcile it. Like I haven't met this amazing bi man that I had to be like, maybe my thought process about this is bullshit. Because he's an amazing man. Maybe I should just give him a chance. I haven't been in that situation. So, how do you cross that line? What line? Especially now with the growing chasm between trans and gays. I don't feel a growing chasm. I'm always in um I'm always in community with gay men. It's never a chasm between me and them. I'm always in community with gay men. The closest people to me besides cis women is gay men when it comes to who I'm in community with. So I don't I don't feel a chasm at all. I'm always in community with them. They always are loving and protective and but just like with cis women, are they catty? Sure. Is it some of them that are catty? Yes. But most of the time, I'm getting along with them or in community with them and getting along well. When I'm in gay spaces, there is an uncomfortable distance. Yeah. Never feel that. Only time I feel that, not I won't say never, rarely feel that. The only time that I feel that is if I'm in a space that was curated by those mass for mass type of gays. Like you can tell that the people that they are inviting to the space, it may be promoted as a everybody's space, but the promoter who sent the invitation, whoever orchestrated this, they are the type that centers masculine gay men. When I'm in those spaces, I just so happen because sometimes, like my gay friends, my gay homeboys, they'll take me to a spot and I can tell that I'm not supposed to be here. And so when I'm in those spaces, usually curated by people who center masculine gay men, I feel the distance. But generally, no. Usually, when I'm in spaces with gay men, I don't feel distance. I don't also don't feel like a celebrity either. Um, Most people don't know me unless they're trans. It's very rarely that you'll meet a trans person that hasn't seen me. But gay, there's a bunch of gays that don't know who the fuck I am. Yeah, there's a bunch of gays that don't know me. Yeah, I'm not to that level of celebrity. I'm I still can go to the grocery store and nobody recognizes me. I'm not that popular. Butch Queens, I prefer the gamut of labels over cishet anything most of the time. It's just natural charisma thing. Um, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just don't ever Butch Queens are my jam. As far as my friendships, it's either It's either trans, cis women, or butch queens. Those are my inner circle of people. My closest circle is trans. My next layer is cis women, and my next layer is gay men. Like it's just that. I don't have no. I've always been in community with them all my life. They are my favorite kind of people. They are my favorite. My usually my champions. Yeah, yeah. I never I it's just like cis women, y'all. It's just like cis women. Cis women are there problematic ones? Yes, but in general, cis women fuck with me. No, I haven't just lived in the South though either. I'm in the South now, but I go, I San Francisco is my stomping ground. Chicago. I used to be in Atlanta. Um, did you score in San Francisco? Could I score or did I score? I wouldn't. Usually in San Francisco, I'm not there to have the trade, but in regards to men in San Francisco, most black men in California in general, but definitely San Francisco, definitely LA, don't fuck with other black people or with other black women. Um, but with butch queens, yeah, I could have had a butch queen in San Francisco if I wanted to, but I didn't want to have him. Saying my circle is trans and butch queens and cis girls. Yeah, the men looked housing insecure. The men looked housing insecure in San Francisco. Yeah, they're not really. I'm not a California girly. I'm not a. I, California men don't get me boiling. They don't really. Yeah, they don't have the swag I like. Um, they just don't. I don't. It's just. I just. They just don't. They like white women out there, and if they don't like white women, they like Latina and Asians. They don't. Black men in California do not really mess with black girls like that. The closest thing you gonna get is if you give a biracial vibe, and wow, some people think I may give a biracial vibe. My vibe, as far as my personality, is definitely black. And so once they hear me talk, if they thought I was giving biracial, they're like, "Oh, nah, she a black woman. I'm cool." Because I have met men that look good out there, but they didn't fuck with me. It's given what we call Jaime trade here in Houston. Yes, very Jaime trade, aka Westheimer, homeless, panhandler, homely, homeless, Jaime. Mm, yeah, no, definitely not. Yeah, I'm trying to think of. Yeah, I think it's kind of like New York. Like in New York, like the men in New York are very men regionally just are different than other regions. California is that. California is that very. I rarely meet the dudes that like black girls. Rarely when I go to California. In New York, I rarely meet down to earth men. Every time I go to New York, the dudes are arrogant and think they know everything. Patriarchy is strong in them niggas. You gotta really. I can't deal with East Coast men for long periods of time. I think the city that really gives me the best vibe when it comes to East Coast men is Philly. It's something about Philly dudes that just feels pro black. They like black girls. They normal and cool. It's something about them that just feels normal. But when I talk about New York, I might find some in DC too. But when we talk about New York, Boston, New Jersey, them niggas, I don't fuck with them. But Philly and DC, I vibe with them, the men there. It's something about them that's more that they're like the down to earth East Coast dudes. And of course, this is generalizing. I'm sure if I lived there, it might be different, but I might come across some nuance. But in general, child, no. Chicago, you won't get down to earth, but maybe a little off. Maybe a little touched, a little taste. There's something about them that give me inbred. they give it gives a real. It always feels like they are trying to scheme. It Midwest dudes. It always feels like trying to scheme. Um, St. Louis, Chicago. It always feels like "Nigga, how's tiny. That's a good. That's good. They ain't homeless, but they scheming like a homeless nigga. yeah, I mean, how's timing? They ain't homeless, but they still scheming like they are. Yeah, St. Louis schemers. You, honey, you have the trade, baby. The trade, you getting dicked down by the trade. He is texting his homeboys to come rob your house. um, yeah, no. St. Louis, Chicago, no. Atlanta, any of this Bible Belt, like Texas, Dallas, Texas. Texas is a whole different vibe when it comes to me. A vibe that I like. So New Orleans, also a vibe that I like. I like New Orleans men. There's something about their men that is Texas, New Orleans, and Dallas. And I've lived here, so I got to see the nuances too. But in general, I don't know. It's not that they're good men, but they have a traditional vibe with them. So if you find one that you actually connect with, they have a very they know how to treat you as if they like you as a woman. Um, they know how to treat you. They know how to um like you. Like I ain't never had a nigga try to not pay for a date. like that's just not a norm where I'm from. Like a dude not paying for the date, a dude, I don't know. They more classic, traditional, regular blue collar people. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's just better. You ain't gotta have those conversations about paying 50-50. They just old school. Does that come with some negative? Sure. but in general, I'm an old school. I'm a non-traditional woman, but with traditional values. I like to be treated like a woman, and men from this area treat you, like a woman, baby. When you get to like a Florida and a Atlanta, it start getting weird. It start getting weird. Start getting real weird, and so I don't mess around over there. Um, if you when you get into like the Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, the niggas just slow. Not slow as in mentally, but I don't care about none of that shit. Are you pretty? You trying to fuck? Let's go. Atlanta is mixy as hell. This world tour. I don't know nothing about like Southwest. Like yeah, Southwest past Texas. I don't know nothing about this area, like Arizona, Colorado, all that. I don't know nothing about the people in there. And most of the people I met from those places are just stoners. So it's hard for me to have a it's hard for me to have an opinion of them because they're usually always high. They always smoke weed. They always are stoners. Like kind of hippie, never assholes, but they're just kind of hippie dippy. Yeah. Detroit dating scene is rotten. Yeah, you know, consistently every time I meet a trans girl from Detroit, I don't like them. Every time I meet one that is born and raised in Detroit, I don't fuck with them. I might fuck with them later, but when we first meet, we don't like each other. Detroit, Detroit seems like a. Mm-mm. 'Cause I've met some cool dudes from Detroit. They always seem scheming. Is that ass fat? Somebody from Memphis, Alabama, Louisiana. Yeah, they're easy to please out here. If you look the part, niggas gonna fuck with you. Did the Parisian men seem open to meet? You gave high value there. Um, where we stayed was in the seventh district, and that is like a bougie upper class district. Um, and so it wasn't nobody that was my type. So I didn't have nobody try to holler at me, except for these old men. I have had nothing but great experiences with men from Ohio. Nothing but great experiences. One of my favorite dates was with this dude named Gregory from Cincinnati. Um, one of the great, I'm about to say great loves. No, not great loves. One of my longest friendships that developed from a client was my homeboy Cornelius Corny. Got a huge ass dude. Um, huge, like one of the biggest I've seen in my life. Um, we've been having a great relationship since '03, and we just cool as hell. And so he's one of my favorite people in the world. Um, yeah, nothing but positive out of Ohio. Ohio gives me Texas vibes, well, like Dallas vibes, just not with Dallas coins. I can see that. I can see how you get there. Mm. I also don't know nothing about like South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, that area. I done been to all those places before, but as far as dealing with men from those places, no. I don't have a lot of experience to have an opinion about. Yeah. But yes, y'all. I'm gonna get off of here because I need to go. But yes, sexuality is fluid. I think everybody's you don't know what people are gonna how people are gonna respond. You don't know how you're gonna respond to somebody that you haven't met yet. There might be somebody that you meet and it's just something about them and you're willing to cross a new line, expand your sexuality, do something different. Sexuality is fluid. There are some people who are more fixed than others, but it's quite annoying when cis het people act like everybody is not doesn't have the potential, or they don't know people who have the potential to do something outside of heterosexuality at various stages of their life. Mm, I bet it's some bomb trade in West Virginia. Maybe. Mm. Um, but yes, thumbs up. If you haven't thumbs up yet, I will chat with y'all later. Um, hope to see y'all at BTAC this year. If you're in Dallas, come through. If you are not in Dallas, we have already sold out most of the tickets for almost everything. I think it's like 20 tickets left, and that was like 3 days ago. So it's gonna be fat this year. It is gonna be fat. It is gonna be fat. It is gonna be fat and turned up. All the girls are coming. There's so many girls coming. I'm so excited. I am so excited. Now you don't need tickets for the workshop, so you don't need tickets to come to that stuff. But to come to like the gala and stuff like that, you do need tickets to go to. But to come to get the educational part of the conference, come through. It's free. You can come on through. Uh, yeah, I'm excited. Excited, excited, excited. Hopefully, I'm in conversation with the people who produced my film. They're supposed to be getting back to me soon. The film that we created about with cis men and trans women, and they're supposed to be showcasing. I'm trying to get them to let me showcase it at the conference. They're acting like it's I don't know what's going on. They got to have meetings and shit about it. What? but but yes, I'm excited about it. But if not, I still have something that I'm going to show. Um, so yeah, make sure y'all thumbs up, and I will see y'all next Friday. Hopefully, yeah, yeah. I don't got nothing to do. I don't travel to the end of the month. But all right, talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.